Leagueheads, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today, we are talking about our rewatch of the fabulous Season 1 of Arcane. In this episode, we are going to be talking about episodes 1 through 4. 4, yep.
Yeah. Why did we do 1 through 4 instead of
1 through 5?
1 through 3 and then 4 through 6 and 7 through 9?
I don't think we needed to.
Because who the fuck cares, you know? Four's a good cutoff.
Very weird energy to come in. We just figured we would do it in 2 parts. And
yeah, it just was like without,
there's no true halfway point.
Yeah. Nice 2-parter.
I remember when we did the first series of episodes, feeling almost like, I felt a little almost flabbergasted, I guess I would say, trying to approach the whole thing, because it was such a bizarre point to be at, where we had this League of Legends show that was so good. It feels like I've come to accept it now, and it's the reality that we live in. But at the time, I felt like I needed a whole episode to just get my fucking bearings.
Right?
Yeah, we thought about doing an episode for each episode kind of thing, and I think we could have, but I'm fine with us doing it in 3 parts. That's probably what we'll do for season 2.
Yes.
It still throws me off, though. I think that there is this show out in the world, because League feels like such a private thing in my life. Just this shameful. No, it's not shameful, but most
it's a little shameful.
Normal people in my life who don't know anything about League, to hear anything League come out of their face is fucking weird.
Right. Arcane's given them a context to understand League lore without them realizing that they're understanding League lore.
Yes.
And they'll discuss Arcane, and I'll be like, man, I understand this, and I know where this story's going, and I'm so excited.
If you have questions, I can spoil it all for you. Not all of it, obviously, but I was talking to a new writing buddy, and he had started watching Arcane because I told him that it was really good. And he was trying to guess which characters were champions in the game. And he's like, oh, Vander's got to be one, right? And I was like, ooh, come back to me.
Right? There's no safe way for me to answer that question.
When you're done. Anyway, initial feelings on this rewatch. I mean, I haven't seen it since that first watch. John has seen it 20 times probably. And Mark, you've watched it a handful of times, yeah?
I rewatched through episodes when we were doing our discussion. So in that span of 3 weeks, I suppose, when we were kind of getting those episodes done, I would go back through and rewatch them just to make sure I had a really firm grasp of what we were talking about. But I have not touched it since that little span. You know what I mean?
I will say, first thing, so we watched this. We watched the DVDs.
The DVDs,
we ordered the fancy DVD box set that came with the D&D dice. Yeah, and they just came in. And I'm going to say the quality seems way fucking higher than on Netflix. Shit looked good.
Really?
I can't really tell, but you've seen it a lot more than I have.
It could also be the fact that most of my rewatches have been reaction videos.
Yeah,
which usually have half the video cut off, or transparencies of the video, so maybe that's it, but damn, it looked good.
I feel like that's a contributing factor. I will say I don't have Netflix normally, so I got the free premium upgrade trial thingy for this first month. It looked pretty good on there. So I don't know. The DVDs are nice, though. You have to show me that. We'll be all soon.
You definitely have to.
You bet.
To go through the. It's really cool. We haven't gone through all the discs yet. I'm sure there will be bonus content and stuff.
Yeah, there's 6 discs, and only 3 of which are the actual episodes.
Although the entire documentary that was on YouTube is on it as well, so
it's also exciting.
Okay. Makes sense.
I think one of the big things that I noticed from just kind of the questions that you were asking while we were watching.
I was asking a lot of questions.
There's a lot more focus on this rewatch about the logistics and history. So what sparked the first fight that led to the opening scene? What finally sparked the initial rebellion that led them across that bridge.
Yeah.
And what was the spark that led to Vander trying to kill Silco? What was the specific thing that led to that? And where is Jace getting these?
The Hextech crystals.
Hextech crystals.
That's my biggest thing is I had totally forgotten a lot about Jace. And I found with this rewatch in particular, I was so much less interested in Piltover. And I felt that way the first time. I was still really interested and excited. But, like, I really wanted to be with Vi and Powder and watching these first 4 episodes. And I was like, oh my God, Jace, I don't care, Jace. Shut up. Just show me that funny drawing you did of you in a cape and a superhero so I can make fun of you. And that's it. But I forgot about the Freljord thing. We assumed that they were in the Freljord in, was it episode 2 that we see Jace? A little bit of his history and why he's interested in magic, because he was rescued as a child with his mother in a big snowstorm, which we assume is the Freljord. And I'm sitting here just so annoyed. Like, how did he why is he there?
Why are you in the Freljord without gloves? What are you even doing here?
What are you doing here?
Yeah, I had that feeling because I was going through and trying to take notes episode by episode. And episode 2 and 4 are where we spend a lot more time with Jason and Co. I feel like, and those are the episodes I had the least to say about. It's like you said, 1 and especially 3. God, especially 3. Three is like breakneck pace, and it only ever lets up on, like, it takes its foot off the gas to spend time with Jace and Victor. And I think it's appropriate for that episode because you need a little bit of time to, like, alleviate tension in certain moments. But it really does highlight that whole storyline is, I guess it's just like it takes a lot of setup is the best way it feels like. And then we do the time skip and it's like we're setting up more even after that point. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah. There's like, it feels like there's more exposition in it, and it's harder to feel emotionally attached, I think, to a lot of the people there. Whereas like when you're following these Scrappy Zon kids, which we love Scrappy Zon kids.
Love our Scrappy Zon kids.
You have us won instantly, no matter who they are. And what they're going through. And then we go up topside. And I'm just like pulling myself away from League in general and like the characters. And if I'm just a nobody who doesn't know anything about League, like these are the people who live Moss. While Zon suffers. You know what I mean?
I do. They're the Taco Bell lovers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
Anyway, I'm skipping around. I don't have a way I necessarily wanted to approach these 4 episodes. I don't know if you did.
No, I think it's.
I just kind of.
I think it was good. I think it's good to talk about like just broad feelings kind of coming, or like after coming off of it or going into it. It was kind of interesting sitting down. I sat down, I turned the lights off. I was going to start my rewatch. It reminded me of how excited I was when I was first sitting down to watch the show, and it kind of recaptured a little bit of that magic of like,
it did, yeah.
Oh man, I haven't seen this in a minute. Like, is it really this? Will it still feel that good? Will it feel, now that I know everything that was going to happen, is it going to feel weaker? It still felt really good.
Just
still really good.
It does, yeah.
God damn. The opening sequence of episode 1 is so effective. I remember talking about it when we first did our first discussion about it, and it still is so strong.
Right, completely dialogueless.
Yes,
yes,
set.
And seeing, I think it really hit more this time. Seeing Vander make the decision to stop fighting, he makes it there on that bridge. Because he's just orphaned these 2 children who are sobbing as they look at their dead parents, and like, oh, like what a moment for him. Like that changed his whole brain, that moment, and it completely changed his life and how he was going to approach Zon, and he changed Zon because of this moment. Obviously, it all fell apart again, but then a good few years, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to talk about changing your brain chemistry? I mean, I think, John, you had said, were we recording when you said it? You said just before we started that, like, you're a different person when you watched this originally.
Yeah.
Was absolutely true for all of us, right?
Right.
Like, we didn't have no chitlins running around. You know what I mean?
You didn't have kids yet, and it does change you a lot.
It fucks up your brain chemistry. I'm serious, and that's something I found a lot with just general media I consume, is that my tolerance for seeing young children, especially young girls, in distress is way lower. So like just this opening sequence really I found far more affecting emotionally, because it's very young kids, young girls in a very sad situation, right? And it's like it was sad when I first watched it, but I started crying when I watched this again on this rewatch.
Yeah, because it's so easy to picture your kid in that situation suddenly, even if not necessarily the exact same situation. I hope she doesn't find us dead on a bridge because of a war.
Fucking killed over. Wow, dogger.
Right.
She sings better?
Said I hope she sings better.
Oh my god, rude. This poor kid. Jinx or Powder destroyed me in this rewatch for sure. I think I'd always I felt so differently about her this time. And just how young she is and how dumb. She's so dumb because she's so little. And she just wants to help, but she's so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's girl, stop it.
I was thinking about that in the when it comes to in episode 3 when Vi kind of has to make the decision to like tell her to stay behind, is like she could have really easily fallen into just being dumb and annoying and stupid, all the things, because she's a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I think it would have been really easy for her to be someone who could be really frustrated with, right? Like just stay home, don't fuck around. So I think the decision to kind of show her having like that breakdown in episode 3 that kind of leads up to her making the decision to come is very important.
For sure, sure. Because it's not. I mean, she's potentially about to lose everyone she cares about and be alone, and that's the scariest thing to her. And to be able to help suddenly, and you see that reflected again in episode 4 when Jinx is older and she's disappointed Silco, and he thinks that she's weak, and then she has this moment of clarity again of like, well, I know what to do.
I'm gonna help again.
Oh, except honestly, really helpful for Silco this time. We really like seeing that, and we noticed a couple of others that we know are going to come up, these little reflections of Powder versus Jinx, and how she's kind of still in these same patterns, like she's caught in these patterns that she was in when she was a little girl, but with different people, and much more explosive results, because she's more effective now at it.
Right. She mixes talent with madness, and it's a dangerous combo. Something I noticed this time on the bridge scene too was like the whole bridge, because we see the bridge a ton of times throughout the series, but this is the only time we ever see it exactly like this, and it being shaded so red gives what does look just like typical Piltover architecture every other point in the show such like a Noxian feel to it. Like even the busts just look like they would be like Noxian busts.
Well, I mean, why are you looking at people's boobs, John?
Honey.
They're so intimidating. They're so...
Also...
They're so expansive.
So expansive.
So hard. Rock hard.
We also see the first of Jinx's like crayoning her crayon vision, where she's sketching over shit she doesn't want to see.
Crayon.
We see it in the first scene.
Her crayon vision.
Yes. Even though she has her eyes closed.
Well, she's kind of doing the
the no peeking,
peekaboo, right? Yeah. It's really nice. It's really nice to see that kind of brought so much more into the fore with her in episode 4, which it's kind of in full swing, as it were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that bothered us originally bothers us again on rewatch.
Oh, what is it?
The fuck's up with Vi's extra strands of hair?
The hair pieces. I really, in the first 3 episodes, she has 2 strands of hair stuck to her cheek. And it was just a choice, and it's not my favorite choice.
Interesting. I didn't even notice it.
You didn't notice it?
Maybe it's because I'm that's just what I expect her to look like in Arcane. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
One thing I liked towards the beginning of episode 1, when they see that when they see the airship and Powder's like, I'm gonna ride in one of those, and then Milo's like, I'm gonna shoot one out of the sky, and Powder gets to do both.
She does both of them.
she's living Milo's best life for him.
Ouch.
Yeah, somebody has to, right? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, when I was watching all of this episode 1, I was really struck by I guess, like, you were talking about thinking a lot about logistics. I was trying to think. I found myself thinking a lot about the way characters, like, in their relationships are kind of depicted, knowing how things are going to change later on down the line. And I was really struck by how close Vi and Powder are, and how good of a relationship they have in these first episodes. Does that make sense? Like, Vi is always going to bat for Powder, and always encouraging Powder, and always protecting Powder. There's never a moment that I can think of until the very end of episode 3 where Vi is ever really, ever, you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, she only ever is in Powder's corner, right? Yeah. And I found that very interesting, how strong it was depicted, knowing where things were going to end up, right?
I know, and I feel like I have to remind myself not to be angry with Powder about it, because she's so young. Because she, Vi has this one moment where she kind of loses her shit, right? And I want to shake Powder and be like, right? Like, that Vi does everything for you. Like, this is all for you. Although, I mean, in rewatching it now, that last moment when she walks away and then Silco finds her, I mean, if Vi had stayed, Silco would have found them both. And I do wonder what would have happened there.
Yeah. I had some logistical questions about that scene on rewatch too.
Oh, John's very upset that
the fuck? His henchmen. I was going to call them goons, but you can't say goons anymore. That means something different now.
No, take it back. I'm
going to take it back.
It's our word. Goons. We're taking it back.
I mean, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, because I do have notes for, like, all the individual episodes, but, like, so Vi is fighting all of Vi's thugs on the bridge. She's not fighting her thugs, honey. All of Silco's thugs on the bridge. She is wearing those big-ass metal gauntlets, knocks them the fuck out. Like, all of them. Just knocks them out with this shit. Then that, big muscle goon comes, and Powder blows up the factory. The fuck did all Silco's guys go? None of them are on the bridge anymore. They were all there for the explosion that blew up Savika's arm, although not off like we thought initially.
Yeah, we really looked at that frame for a while.
Almost killed Big Monster. Understandable that it didn't kill Big Monster, but no one else on that bridge should have survived. Every single one of Silco's guys
and they were fine.
that Vi fought ended up just walking back into the scene at the end there like nothing ever happened.
It was pretty funny. I didn't even think
they were laying down as time out.
Right.
I think they got knocked off the bridge, and they were fine down there, protected them from the explosion. Sure, there was a fire, but what's fire doing?
What's a little
cartoon?
Fire, right?
What's a cartoon fire? Honestly, it's not even hot.
Yeah, I was a little I was bothered by that on rewatch. Because she probably would have lost the rematch against all those people severely injured and without her gauntlets. But she shouldn't have had to rematch him. She beat him the first time and they got stuck in a fucking explosion. Should have just been Silco.
Yo, she kicked Silco's ass,
She would have kicked Silco's ass.
Yeah.
Injured or not. But yeah, speaking of Savika, this is the first time I noticed that, like, when we see, like, the slow motion, she pushes Silco out with her arm, and we see her arm get
obliterated.
Fucking obliterated. Just disintegrated. She's still got that arm.
Yeah.
When she shows up later.
The big goon with the tats, he's like holding her, and her arm's just dangling down, but it's there, and it's like just black, like it's all burnt up. It's
Never noticed
really
that
weird.
before.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it get disintegrated. I guess I never really looked too hard at what it looked like when he was.
You only see her in
parting her around, you know,
like a frame, really, like that part of like the arm, because you're just like seeing from. Like,
I did have to rewatch it. I was like, wait. Does she have her arm? Is that her arm? I thought that gone.
It's a little bit of explosion.
Let's see. I have episode 1 note.
Okay.
Milo says, "Who locks their balcony?" I think the bigger mystery here is who leaves cupcakes on their balcony.
Yeah. I liked the nod, but that was one of the most obvious nods, I think. That if you don't know anything about League, you're like, why are there cupcakes on the balcony? I remember my first thought was just like, oh, cute, cupcakes. Yeah. They have to cool. There's frosting on
pies.
them. No, you don't frost cupcakes that are hot.
It's fair.
It is the land of progress.
Right. That line to me stunk of someone in ARAM complaining, like, who brings exhaust on ARAM? Like, come on.
And as someone who brings exhaust on ARAM, if you say that to me...
Sounds like you just got exhausted and didn't kill somebody.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to get exhausted for the rest of the game on cooldown, which I have done before.
Right?
Don't bitch about me taking exhaust.
Right? It's like asking a Malzahar if they can ult someone else.
Oh, yeah.
You know they're not going to ult anyone else anymore. Something I noticed for the first time, too, in the apartment scene, Jace has a guitar in his room.
Oh, yeah, we were making fun of him for that. I feel like Jace doesn't know how to play the guitar. He just has one.
He can bang out a warbly Wonderwall.
Right? That's the first thing.
That was the joke that we also made, is that he could only play Wonderwall.
Here's Wonderwall.
Here's Wonderwall. I mean, we're millennials. That's the guitar song that guys learned.
There's got to be some Arcane, some League of Legends version of it.
Oh, which, do you think he, like Heartsteel? Maybe he knows
Anyways.
An acoustic version?
Maybe like an acoustic version of Pentakill, since there's Pentakill logos everywhere.
Nah, he's not cool enough for Pentakill.
Episodes.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the acoustic version sucks, so it tracks.
Ouch.
I mean, it doesn't exist. I'm assuming his acoustic version would suck.
Yeah.
You don't think he would really bang it out, a little Metallica style, or whatever?
That'd be great.
Master.
Man, that'd be so ironic if he was singing Master of Puppets, given how much he's fucking puppeted through this whole series.
Sure.
Such a goober. But he's cute.
Goober, but he is a goober.
What's on me?
I had some sweater on you.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say I guess I had kind of forgotten that, like, he really does try to do the right thing in episode 4. Not only does he not unveil the gemstone, it is interesting that episode, because we're just bouncing around, starts with Heimer giving that little speech about, like, sacrifice, really, and Jace tries to do what is like a really big sacrifice to do the right thing, and just kind of gets like he gets outmaneuvered politically almost, just kind of like led around. But he was trying to do a good thing. I forgot about that bit for him.
And then Jake stole it. I mean, he couldn't have known that she was going to be there.
I mean, not even that, but that, like, even after it's stolen, that he was willing to shut everything down.
Yeah,
like he wanted to. Yeah, I don't know if that was the right call. Like, if that's actually would have caused massive. They frame it as like this is just pure greed as to why to not do it. But, if you can't shut down it's like shutting down all the airports and everything in all of the United States
for
like indefinitely.
Yeah, because someone else got a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
I was confused why he wanted to shut down the Hex Gates. Because, I someone got a gem and that's no good. But I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But then the whole thing was, we got to give these gems to everybody. So,
I'm curious, like, it strikes me a lot of, like, some Jace naivete to, like, oh, if they can come up here and steal a gemstone, imagine if they would use the Hex Gates, like, completely oblivious to the fact that obviously the criminals have been using the Hex Gates this whole fucking time.
Right.
The fucking episode 4 starts with what is sure to be a shipment of shimmer going through the hex gates were it not to be exploded.
Also, Jinx stole like 4 of the crystals or something like that. I guess maybe Jace thought they all exploded. I guess that makes the most sense. It was like, didn't he notice that they were all gone? But he probably thought they blew up.
Yeah, probably wasn't much crystals left in there.
Well, yeah, Jinx show her... took a bunch of them.
That's the thing. I don't quite remember from the later episodes. Because I assume y'all did like I did, where you just watched up to 4 and then stopped. You didn't watch the whole
I think she took like 3 or 4. I don't remember.
That's basically what I remember. In 4, it's definitely framed as if she got 1. That is certainly how it is presented in episode 4, I will say.
Yeah, in episode 4, she stole that new like balanced one, you know. But in the original episode 1, she stole like 4 crystals. Powder stole like 4 of the hex crystals before anyone knew about these. And like Jace didn't seem concerned that they disappeared.
Yeah, I think definitely.
But I'm assuming that he thought they were blown up.
Yeah, because the main room there that got blown up was the one that all the crystals were in. So.
Yeah, with
or
one
had been recovered,
and his guitar. Right? I don't know what he's going to play on now.
Oh God, you're right. He's going to have to learn another instrument.
Oh man, that's funny.
Something I noticed that I didn't notice before. You know the little baby Krug when they go to the Undercity for the first time. Mm-hmm. There's also a bin full of puff caps next to it that I didn't see the first time.
Timo mushrooms, interesting. For anyone who doesn't know what those are called, because I didn't.
We also had some... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was really trying to look for little things like that I missed the first time. Missed it again. There you go.
So many details. We had questions, too, around... You know the traders in the beginning that, essentially go back on their deal to... God, I forget his name already.
Huck.
Chuck?
Huck?
Huck?
Yeah,
Chuck?
That sounds right. Huck.
Huck.
We're curious where they were from, because they clearly weren't from the Undercity, right? Like, going... If you're from the Undercity and then you go into the lanes and you also, I guess...
You're not going to swindle people at the last
reputation,
trot.
but not by sight.
We were just trying to see where they might be from based on their tattoos and stuff. My guess was maybe Bilgewater, at least for the guy. But I wasn't sure. It was just something I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And because he had like pretty Bilgewater-y tattoos. And that also made us think the scene in episode 4 where, they have that entire shipment of shimmer in the airship. We were curious,
where was that going?
Where is this going? And... I mean, our thought again is like
Bilgewater.
Probably Bilgewater.
Bilgewater was my thought. I just thought that they would have a high desire for it. People in Bilgewater would probably want shimmer.
Yeah, sure. And it seems like a safe place because Silco's smart enough, I think. Like Noxus would want shimmer the most likely. I think Silco's smart enough to know
you don't want Noxus to have
has
shimmer.
agents fucking everywhere in Piltover, and they're the last people you want to have shimmer.
Yeah, it's a good question. Just as to the, again, I guess you had asked, like the logistics a little bit of what exactly is the plan almost a little bit. You know, is it just making money off of it?
I was assuming money, yeah. But
I'll be honest, I don't quite remember, but they do make a point of saying that it's a lot more than they've seen before. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the firelights when they came on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen this much shimmer before?
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, the firelights are so cool. We only see them in one scene in these first 4 episodes, and it's episode 4. It's funny on a rewatch now seeing the leader of the firelights, who we now know is Echo. He's so Echo. Like, I feel like that first move when he just kind of tilts his head down and like goes upside down, and that that whole sequence is dope. Cool. That just felt very Echo to me.
So cool and so extra.
It's a just little extra. It's not like Silco's slow clapping for like 25 minutes extra, but it was still a little bit extra.
Can we talk about how like he must have coordinated with like his thugs? Well, to tell them like I'm going to do a slow clap.
Slow clap.
You better not join me. I'm not trying to get a real slow clap going. I'm going to do it. You need to shut the fuck up and just follow me and look intimidating. Don't blow this for me. I'm trying to look cool here.
That's fair, I suppose. I feel like you just kind of pick up on it. It's like, oh, I feel like this is not one of those big clap moments.
This is Silco's moment right now. Look at the way he's standing,
sure, right.
walking.
I thought you were talking about like Echo and his goons, because they all do the little head turn drop thing simultaneously.
They do. Yeah, that's true. That was definitely choreographed.
Choreographed, yeah, coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no need for that, but damn, it looks cool.
It did look cool. It was probably really fun to do. That's why I think Echo would do it. It's just probably fucking fun as shit.
Yeah, because it's not enough to give people what they need to survive. You got to give them what they need to live. It's an Echo quote from later in the season.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing that struck me a lot in the first 4 episodes actually was how often people refer to the upper city specifically as Piltover when... like people in the Undercity. Because like at this point, they're both technically Piltover. It's just that one's upper city and one is the lower city. There's no actual separation yet. There's no Zon. Sure, it's something that Silco's kicking around, but I mean, they're all still Piltover. They're all still led by the council. The council's constantly talking about like, yeah, there's still our constituents down there. But the amount of times that the Undercity and even some of the upper city are like, oh no, we need to stay away from Piltover is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I remember that being a really big point of confusion on initial watch.
For me, yeah, I didn't realize that we
didn't like get what was going on with it.
That they weren't Zon yet. I was like, what do you mean? They're Zon.
Yeah. Now it feels a little more natural. Feels a little more appropriate, just like really highlighting just how...
I feel like Zon always they felt like a separate place before they were, declared themselves a separate place is kind of how I was thinking it.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
I think it absolutely goes towards that. But it is interesting, right? Like you said, that they are Piltover. We are Piltover. We're all
So
Piltover. Yeah.
I also just realized for the first time that the vehicle that Echo's riding in the enemy music video is outside a Benzo's shop in the scene where we meet Echo. We just never get to see him ride it. That cool, like, Borderlands circle
bike
coaster.
Oh, I didn't notice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's neat. I like that when Echo is first introduced, when Benzo like asks him. I think he's working on a clock. Funny, I think also. And Benzo asks him for something, and Echo's like, "I just need a few more seconds." It's like, oh, that's kind of cute.
Oh, gosh, all these little nods are great.
Yeah. But episode 1, there was a scene that on rewatch I really liked, which was Vander talking to Vi about leadership. I think it's after they come back from the job had gone south, and I thought it was interesting that he's sitting there telling her things that she doesn't want to hear, but that she does need to hear. And what does he do immediately after that? He puts some like alcohol on her wounds, and it stings. Right? He's kind of doing what needs to happen. Right, even though the truth kind of stings. It's just it's interesting to pull that up against the Silco Jinx relationship, because we know way later on Silco like has that line about like Jinx being perfect, and it's these two sort of different sort of almost approaches, I guess, to parenting, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
right? Almost. I don't know. It's just interesting that I feel like that's something that's going to come back later. It's the way that he handles his relationship with Vi compared to those other two.
That's a really good point. Yeah. They have more of a father-daughter relationship, Vander and Vi, something that she would have kept learning from him, whereas Jinx and Silco, it's a little more of a poisonous codependency.
Yeah. And I think that will even come back, because I always remember in the much later episode when Vander makes his little sort of vision reappearance for Vi. I think the first thing he says to her is that her guard still sucks. Her guard still needs work, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of reincorporating that whole aspect of their relationship, the way they interact, right? But yeah, it's neat. I was also struck a lot by when Vander is trying to figure out what's going on, how much he's bothered, like how much like attention he pays to the fact that there's someone who is from their side who is doing things, right? Like,
yes.
yeah, Piltover, etc. But when Vi kind of mentions that, like, oh, some people on our side were kind of messing with us, he really takes notice of it, and it's something that really sticks with him, which makes sense. But it's just,
and also immediately calls who's behind it.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't know who was behind it yet at that point.
He just knows the people there so well. One of the many reasons is a devastating loss for Zahn when he's gone, and why Silco needed him gone, right? It made me so much more excited to see Warwick in season 2. I'm so pumped.
Yeah,
to honestly, be devastated and heartbroken.
Having read the Warwick lore, I think made me more excited for Warwick in season 2 also.
True, yeah.
Because I remember enjoying that, and it's nice and grim and sad in its own ways.
I'm so curious how much of that we're going to get to see versus just the aftermath, you know?
Like,
are we going to get to see experimentation, or are we going to... I guess kind of my theory, actually, is we're probably just going to see Warwick.
I think
so, too. And maybe
we'll
see flashes of experimentation through, like... Kind of like through, like, Jinx-type psychosis flashes.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is if Vi's going to find out that that's him, because that's something that's not in the lore that we have now.
You know she will, because that would be really fucking sad.
Right, exactly. Like, she has to find out, because how heartbreaking will that be?
Is it heartbreaking?
I think it would be heartbreaking for Jinx, too. I'm kind of curious how that would affect her. I don't think she had the same relationship with him that Vi did, but he was still like a dad to her. I don't know, but Vi obviously would be way more upsetting.
It's tough. Yeah, on the other hand, I don't think she or Vi can find out. I think both of them would probably, maybe less so Jinx, but Vi, I think, would be do anything possible to try and
kill him,
fix or revert or like save. She's big savior complex.
I think that would happen, but I also think she might have to acknowledge that she can't. But she already has Jinx on her plate for that, you know. It might be more interesting than for Jinx to find out. Yeah, because maybe they would have this weird relationship, almost.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think because, like you said, it feels so natural that it would be Vi and him, because they were so much more established as a, like you said, that sort of parent-child relationship. Jinx would be a really interesting one. I'd be really curious. I don't know. Yeah.
We noticed in episode 1 that Silco's not wearing any makeup.
Yeah, his face is darker on the side where his scar is, and it gets lighter in the years later.
I remember there was one really scene, probably in episode 7 or 8, I want to say, right before he. Actually, it was episode 5, so I think we're about to see it right after Savika goes in and tells him that Vi's alive, or Vi's back, and he's putting on makeup when she says, and he slaps the mirror closed and turns around. It's like, from the dead. And I was like, I wonder when he started wearing makeup, because in his first 3 episodes, no makeup. As soon as he takes power in the underground, bitches makeuped up, covering that shit.
Just a little base. Right? Just a little...
Yeah, I'm always wearing a little makeup.
I'm always wearing a little, yeah. You know what? That's interesting. I had never noticed that. I'm gonna be really excited to go back and look for that, because it is again, these little details. That's exactly what's going on with the character, right? Like he is.
Yeah, he's now a face in
He's
Zahn.
got to be a face. Yeah, he's responsible in some way. That's interesting. I never noticed that. I guess I kind of just assumed maybe it was because he was maybe putting more shimmer in the old eyeball that things were changing, but
I did check actually. I checked the eyeball specifically to see if does his eyeball look any better than it used to? Maybe this is maybe his face is healing as a result of the shimmer, but no, his eyeball is exactly as fucked.
Yeah. That's neat. That's a really neat little detail I didn't even catch on.
So episode 2. I love the scene where Jace is like walking in with all the shit he got from the Undercity, when we're kind of seeing what happened in the apartment from his perspective. And Caitlin is all like, oh my God, I can't believe you went to the Undercity. And he's so smug.
This is a note you had actually in your old notes.
I did like the, the you know, how he got swindled in the undergrad. But it's just... his swagger, just like, oh yeah, it's worth a little bit of risk.
He's impressive.
Just knowing he got fleeced by
13-year-old or whatever.
So I think he's 12. Yeah, like a 12-year-old kid.
It's like, oh man, this 12-year-old thinks I'm the shit. Which, like, don't get me wrong, it is cool when 12-year-olds think that, like, the fact that you can do a video game good is like...
honestly, impressing a 12-year-old will be, like, the height of your day if you can ever do it. Because that shit's tough. The older you get, the harder it is, too.
Yeah.
The thing
My
is
nephews
that
eventually
he
came around
thinks
to me
he's
on
also,
Pokemon
like...
Go.
That's good. They used to really rip into him.
Like, yeah, I can go drop $20 at a 7-Eleven. What's the big deal?
I can buy so much candy, full-size candy.
Right.
I don't think that would impress them anymore. $20.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know.
In this economy,
I'm stuck in my...
No, they're making Serenity Me a Broad City. I love that show. But there's like this kid who's like talking about, I think he's in like high school or something, but he looks like young, about, I don't know, something about finding a date or something like that. And eventually they're saying goodbye to him. And she's like, don't worry, you will have sex one day. And he's like, I've had sex. Look at all my fuck bracelets. And he's just got a bunch of bracelets on his wrist. She was like, what the fuck are fuck bracelets? And it was reminding me of that. Like, they're trying to impress him. Like, oh, you'll have sex one day. He's like, oh, I've had sex. Anyway.
Episode 2, after the arcade scene, I fucking love Marcus squaring up with his gun, fully prepared to shoot those, like, 10-year-olds.
Yo, Marcus sucks so bad, dude.
I have 3 separate notes in my notes that just say, Marcus sucks.
Sucks, so...
I was surprised how much time we spend with him in episode 2. I kind of forgot about it, or maybe...
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do... Like I said, they do a lot with him, and I mean, for like the type of character he is, right? Where I wouldn't have expected so much time with him. And even like establishing a bit of like his motivation, and I don't know, it's interesting because I know he'll get even more as like later on, back half of the series. It's always surprising to me when I come back to it that Marcus was not. What am I trying to say? That he was given so much, right? And given maybe a little more depth or nuance, especially in the back half of the series, than you would have expected, maybe.
It's especially striking given that he gets no redemption arc. Like that, like he gets all of the why he's doing this and everything, and you know, some justification and everything. And they know he still sucks. Like, all this aside, still sucks. Doesn't even get his last words. Like,
well, I think that's really I think that's what makes it so effectively the way he's handled and done overall, is that, like, that's the thing, is like you would think either you would not give nearly as much attention and he would be a very one-note, one-dimensional character that just exists to antagonize, or, like you said, he would get way more development and be put on this whole redemption arc. But kind of taking more of a middle path between the two, I think, is actually probably the master stroke of the whole thing, because it's a lot more true to life. Yeah. And it makes him feel much more human as a character, right? That, like, it's interesting to see someone who's an idiot, makes gargantuan mistakes, and then learns from those mistakes, but is still kind of stuck in the spiral as a result of them, and cannot escape, right? It's
yeah. I mean, it makes
more tragic
sense. It is more tragic, and like you said, more realistic. You know, when you make mistakes that big, like, that shit's not gonna, it's not gonna forgive you the way the audience might. You know.
And it really. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it reminded me so much of like this scene in like Deadpool and Wolverine, and, like, Pyro at the end was about to start his big monologue, and he just spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, I guess.
It's not been out that long.
When Pyro's about to start.
I mean, I haven't watched
monologue,
it, but I don't give a shit. Don't worry about
it. And Deadpool just shoots him. It's like, not everyone gets a speech. Just like...
It's true.
Well, it makes me really interested for the character that you had realized in season 2, who was his daughter, right? Who's now like been brought back into the narrative. Yeah. Right? That's really interesting.
We're getting more Marcus, I guess, right?
I'm really curious.
That's a theory, at least, right? That the redheaded enforcer was his daughter.
It looks right to me.
It looks remarkably like her.
And I think that would just be a really interesting character to spend time with. Someone coming to grips with like who their father actually was. And it would play so hard into so much of what's already exists in Arcane when it comes to like parent-child relationships and these sort of generational conflicts. That was a big thing I felt in rewatching this too, was like how many of these sort of youth versus age, idealism versus wisdom conflicts exist, right? With like Vi and Vander, Jason, Victor, and Heimer, Marcus and Grayson, Mel and her mom, right? And then Jinx and Silco kind of stands like almost contrary to all that in a way, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. God, I'm now so curious because she's in Caitlyn's team and Vi's team. I'm curious how much the two of them would have told her about the Marcus that they knew versus like, because obviously she knows some, like the whole council knows that Marcus betrayed him. I'm sure she knows that, but like I'm curious how much of the specific shittiness they shared with her versus tried to like protect her from. I'm curious to see what their dynamic is in season 2.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I had kind of forgotten about it until rewatching this. And I was like, oh yeah, John had pointed this out, and I'm really interested now. Yeah, I think this is something I mentioned before in the last time we talked about this episode, but the little Renaissance painting of like the Rune Wars when Heimer is having his his Nom flashback is such a neat way of showing it. I don't know. It's like that you could have done it in a million ways, but something that feels so like I don't know. It feels like authentic, I guess. That right. Like that's how someone would have depicted it. Maybe does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and it's like a tragedy. So like that happened long enough ago that almost no one alive remembers, and this is kind of the remnant of like this. It only exists in Renaissance art and Heimerdinger's brain. Like,
yeah, I also was,
and the whole world's just gearing up to repeat the mistakes again. That the cycle has started.
I know.
You would think. I guess 300 years or whatever is a pretty long time for humans, I suppose. I was gonna say you would think that people would not fuck around as much, but
right, we're about to repeat mistakes just in the United States
from not that long
like
ago.
Less than 100 years ago. It's like what, 80?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I had forgotten when they were having their little discussion about about Jason, his magic. One of the counselors says that Piltover was established as a haven from the warmongering of mages, which I thought was really interesting. I forgot about this line. I don't know if this is a throwaway line or what.
I never got that from Piltover. Like that didn't feel like that was the Demacian history. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say because there's a lot of stuff that's new in Arcane. For example, the one counselor who says their entire race was almost destroyed by magic, right?
What are you?
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
We had our own theories about him. I feel like I'm still sticking to him being a Bakai with an exosuit.
I don't know. I think it's an entirely original Arcane invention just for the cool visual of a robot man.
They needed a robot
man.
Being
an actual robot.
It's a steampunk thing.
I don't think he's a robot.
No, I don't think he's literally in universe a robot. But
I think dogs should have pants.
I think dogs should be able to vote. I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah. Speaking of, in this scene, it always makes me mad how mad Jace gets at his mom for intervening here.
Oh my god, I know.
It's like he's literally about to get kicked out of Piltover. And then his mom steps up and is like, no, wait. And they're like, okay, you can stay, but like, you can't be in the academy anymore. And he's like, I can't believe you fucking did this to me, Mom. Like, excuse you?
She did say he was addled in the brain. I mean, not literally. But
you do what you gotta do.
She did say he was donkey brain.
What you do. I would tell a counselor of people that my daughter was donkey brain if it meant her not getting kicked out of town. I don't want to go somewhere else. Where are they going to go live?
Right? They can't go to the Freljord. They tried that already.
She lost 2 fingers. Or wherever they went that was snowy. For whatever reason. I still need to know. I still need to know, Riot, please.
And why were they
there?
Christian,
up there.
Why?
Christian, let me know.
They're trying to get Orin's hammer.
Oh, shit.
Honestly, I'll take
it.
I will take that.
We never learn anything more about this massive kraken outside Silco's window.
Right?
Yeah, there's
this
a lot.
gigantic thing.
There's a gigantic shark and there's a massive kraken. Like,
I guess that's why they don't go in the water. But whew.
Surely,
I didn't think the water was that deep there.
I feel like I remember you at some point making some sort of like suggestion that there's connecting this to the void, and if you think about like Nami and the fact that there are these void rifts deep in the sea, and that could be related to what's going on with Shimmer. Maybe they'll play with that. I think it's probably just for the visual, to be honest with you, but I wish they would reincorporate it because it's really cool. Right.
Like, it's possible, yeah, because like I mean, another thing that we see in episode 3 for the first time is the Shimmer being filtered through like an actual living, what looks like a void creature for the first time.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they certainly could. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna get a lot more Singed in season 2. At least I hope.
Hopefully,
more.
God,
he's gonna be there. We know
he's invited to the party.
He'll definitely be there. He's got to be Warwick.
Right. So I'll be curious. I don't know.
I got a sighting of the rhino from the Get Jinxed music video under the bed when the enforcers were looking for the kids at the last drop.
Yeah, I caught this one.
Also, this stuck out more on this watch than previous watches. Marcus going down to the last drop and then saying that the people there are mistaking arrogance for bravery is just so fucking out of pocket for Marcus.
He's the most arrogant
surrounded
motherfucker
by these big ass burly fucking enforcers. Just the biggest, most arrogant fucking asshole. Also, another thing we noticed in episode 2, the cup that Jinx is drinking out of at that kind of like last scene there, it's the same cup she's drinking out of later when she's trying to, at the last drop, being served by Theorem.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that episode yet, but she has her own cup.
She has her own cup. She's drawn on it more since
but there's more drawings
but
on
it's
it
the
now.
same cup.
Oh, my heart.
Do you think it gets washed? Still got all the same.
No, it's Zon.
Yeah.
They
You never know what's in the pipes,
That'll make it worse
man.
somehow.
You turn it on, Zach might come out. Who knows?
Right? Not again.
It's like the Blob.
Right. But,
Episode 3. Another thing stuck out to me that didn't stick out before, and it in a way it makes sense, but it's registered. So Grayson, we kind of start the episode off by Grayson getting killed off. But we also see that she got a shot off. Her pistol is smoking as it's lying on the ground. And the one thing that we learn about Grayson in episode 4, I want to say... Yeah, no, episode 5.
It's fine.
We haven't gotten there yet. Is that she is as good, if not potentially a better shot than Caitlyn. So it's interesting knowing that she got a shot off, and it was not a kill shot.
I mean, it was the big monster guy, right?
It was a big monster guy.
Yeah, you're not gonna get him down with a fucking bullet.
You might.
He's all doped up on shimmer.
He got exploded by the thing, and he was fine.
Yeah, but he didn't take a headshot. We don't know what headshot
Grayson wasn't
will do
doing the lethality build, man. She wasn't doing the or whatever the crit lethality.
I'm interested, actually. One thing that I found it interesting that she actually just has a pistol, because I mean, it looks like Caitlin gets to have a sniper rifle. Why couldn't Grayson have a sniper rifle?
Well, this is the before times. All
That's
right?
true.
Things have only exacerbated the militarization of the Piltover Enforcer Force.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how intimidating is that,
right?
too? Like, she's going down to try to do something relatively peaceful with Vander, and she's brought a fucking sniper. Like, it's not an appropriate weapon.
Yeah, that's also true. Could be trying to keep things a little, not put too much gas in the old fire. If we're talking about episode 3, I just want to say that, like, this episode is really fucking good. It's really good.
It's so
good. It starts and it just like it hits the ground running and it doesn't stop. It feels like it's over in a heartbeat, while still feeling like drawn out and anguished in its own way.
It's ironic given how many heartbeats stop in this episode.
Yeah, we lose a lot of people in this episode, and they all really hurt.
Even knowing it was coming, it's really proper shocking. I think that's, again, like 3 really is like such a great tone setter for the rest of the series, and it was just so much I remember this feeling of like, wow, they're really taking it seriously. They're not pulling their punches. They're really willing to have bad things happen to characters, which is so important, and I think very easy for people to not do. To not make their characters suffer enough so that then their successes feel, earned, right?
Yeah.
But everything is earned after episode 3, man. Good night.
It is. And they needed this. Like, you need something truly devastating for Powder to do, I think. And they sure did it. And it is so sad. And Powder being so happy for herself as she's falling off the building when she's just killed her 2 friends and maybe her dad. Yeah, that sucks.
Where'd she fall? She ain't wet. She didn't hit the water. Where'd she fall?
She just fell. God. She fell into the safe embrace of the warm fire.
Trash.
Like everyone on the bridge.
That's true, I guess. That's the only way you can survive explosions is by landing safely in the fire, apparently.
Safely in the flames.
It breaks the fall.
I know that Heimerdinger is he's very science, right?
He is science.
He's not.
Yeah.
He can do magic, but he's not magic-y. I mean, he's a Yordle, so he has inherent magic, but like he also seems to have a certain disdain for magic,
I think it's a fear of it more than anything.
A healthy fear, yeah.
A healthy fear of magic.
And like we see him do a little bit of it after he gets kicked out of the council and goes to the Undercity. Just like, almost sleight of hand type magic. I'm a little surprised that there's no amount of magic outside his office. I would have kind of expected like maybe like a little magic lock or something like that.
Oh, outside. Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting. I thought you were talking about something a little more innocuous, like maybe the hex crystals start reacting to something, just a little something or other, a little latent magical resonance or some such. I'd be interested in that. I don't know. It's hard because Yordles are such a undefined quantity in Arcane.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. I would like
2
to
of them.
see.
Well, 3 of them, I guess.
Another Yordle, like not a hooker,
or a gimp.
Yeah, like
Hey,
another
the
Yordle
gimp
with
could
a
have been
speaking role.
just visiting. He didn't have to be an employee.
What I'm surprised by are there are not any mages in Piltover. Not even ones who have moved there. I can understand maybe there aren't any born into Piltover because it's just maybe it's not a land that provides that kind of magic that people are born into it. But I don't know. They seem so like apprehensive of magic, and like it seems like this wondrous thing that's really far away that they'll never get. But it's like you could just go to another town, like you'll probably find a mage.
It's a good question.
Especially like because you are the through lane, like
now,
right?
Especially
like,
yes, but they weren't before.
The River Pilt is how you get to
that's how you destroy
most
Zon.
places. Like, can't you have Janna?
Well, no, I mean she's not.
Do you
around.
though? Is she more just an idea? You can say
they couldn't even use her for the fans.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, that is something that maybe post time skip would have been better to kind of to establish about the state of the world, right? That maybe there's I don't know. I don't know how much like time they have in this whole story to try and get into what's going on.
It's true. I was surprised to remember that the episodes weren't an hour long. I really thought they were.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how short they were. I was like, my God, they get a lot into this.
Right.
So I do feel bad complaining, and I think it's a phenomenal show, obviously. But will have some questions with my knowledge of Runeterra as a whole, where magic is abundant.
Right. Like, we're not expecting them to answer these questions. We just have them.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a good, especially after, to your point, Mark, after the Hex Gates, like, you can say maybe they were a bit, sequestered from the rest of the world a bit, but they specifically are like, oh, no, now we are a global shipping lane.
Yeah.
Surely you've got magic now.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are like, oh, you guys are doing this through, like, science? I can just, like, boo!
Right.
But seriously, I mean, it was enough of a thing that... Because I was like, it's like the major conflict that Jace in particular kind of has to try and overcome, is everyone's fear and magic. We said the M word, right? So
I mean, I get the fear, and especially once they came up with the hex. What do they call them? The balls.
Oh, the hex crystal, or the hex gems.
Hex gem instead of a crystal. Yeah, like I definitely understand the fear of giving that to everyone in Piltover. Just like you wouldn't want everyone to be a mage. Like, that is a terrifying idea, right? Yeah, so I definitely felt more on Heimerdinger's side, especially when Jace and Victor show him the demos and they almost like kill everyone in the room just with the demo. And Heimerdinger's like, you want to release it? No. Give it like a while. It's a great direction. I'm loving where your head's at. And they were like pissed.
Yeah. They did almost laser the little poor professor, whatever.
I know.
And I just caught this time around when Jace crushed the rock. He almost hit him with bits of the rock, too.
Yeah.
At the very least, like, it makes sense from Victor's perspective. Like, it feels like they do a good job of establishing like where Victor's coming from. He doesn't have the time. He's degenerate. Yeah, exactly right. And
to that point, though.
Oh, Mark wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, I thought he wasn't done. It sounded like he was still
rambling.
Talking.
My favorite part of that scene was how they were so invested. Like, oh, we are going to use Hex Tech, and we're going to make life so much better for the Undercity. What are our first inventions? Okay, get this. Here's something that'll help them work more.
Better.
They'll work faster, which we all know in Zon means that they'll just do more work. It's not like they get to leave early if they work faster. And like, oh, and we'll also do a laser thing too, because that'll also help them work faster. Like, y'all can build like new legs for Victor if you want, or like, new lungs or something, to actually help with the
some filters.
Especially because they specifically mention after, in a few episodes that Victor's degenerative condition is something as a result of like the gases in the fissures near here where he was born. Like, you could have come up with anything as your first invention, but you specifically chose two things so that the Undercity will just work faster.
Yeah, I do agree. It's hard because it's
His
like
face is frozen, or he's very displeased with me. Oh, there he's back.
I'm so unamused. No, I do completely agree. It is a bit of a shame that we have to show off the League of Legends.
With you
he does.
Time.
He's smiling now, or smirking at least.
Oh, I heard him from another realm for a second. Hi.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm not displeased. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying it's a shame that we have to show off the League of Legends champions' abilities and weapons.
Right.
It says something like that. So maybe something like that, and it really doesn't work. You know, the more simpler things like crushing a rock, easy peasy. But recreating the human respiratory system, a lot harder. Right?
I guess that's fair.
Although that would have led perfectly to what we assume is going to be season 2 Victor.
I cannot. Seeing him use that laser, I forgot like the excitement it brought into my heart and soul. I'm so pumped for Victor to reach his final form. Oh my god!
For sure,
he's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. They've been really diligent about not showing him in any of the teaser trailer content. Yeah. I've noticed. I know they're trying to play like, oh, maybe he didn't serve. Like they're not showing a lot of anyone who was in that room, but
come on,
we know.
Come on, dude. So I'm super. Come on, dude. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. I forgot how much worse he looks post time skip.
Yeah, I think in every episode he gets a little bit worse too. Like, poor guy, poor Victor. Well, we're hitting over an hour, so do you have any more?
I only have 2 more notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
One was your quote when Caitlyn, outside of like the talk that Jace is giving, when all the enforcers are outside, and Caitlyn looks in the distance and sees a fire and is like, fire! And then all of the enforcers near her just drop their lit cigars on the ground.
They even have a close-up shot of one of them.
Killed me this time.
Look, they're cops. They're not firefighters or whatever, all right?
I thought it would be funny if they went and put out that fire and then turned around and were like, fire!
Quick, light and throw away your cigarettes.
Oh, this is a really great Mad TV sketch we're coming up with right now.
Mad TV?
I don't know why Mad TV.
It's not good enough for like SNL or something, but it could pull a mid-episode Mad TV.
Honestly, Mark, you followed my train of thought exactly. I was like, I don't think I'm good enough to make an SNL sketch.
This is good enough for a show that's not going to be on the air.
Fuck. Okay.
One other thing I wanted to mention, because like during the scene where we first see Jinx in episode 4, and she's just like destroying all those firelights, I think part of me assumed that a lot of them actually kind of made it out. Obviously not the one that, she shot in the back.
Yeah.
But maybe the ones that she like kind of grenaded off the ship, like. But the fact that Silka was like, no, she killed most of them.
Most of them are gone.
It's just just those 2. And I don't think we ever actually. I mean, we never see what the other ones look like, but I feel like we only get the mural of the pink-haired one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it reads that way because Echo, or whoever the leader is, doesn't really react to any of it, except for the.
He really reacts to her.
To her dying.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe he was also really attached to her because she looked like Vi. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would take it, to be honest with you.
But Echo definitely would react to that. It would, goes along so well with how he feels about Jinx now. And how he doesn't even call her Powder anymore. Like, Powder's dead to him. Because she is fucking murdering his people. It's like just trying to help Vaughn.
Like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Mark, I mentioned this to Rebecca as we were watching it, but if you want to know what will bring out the most toxic of Arcane fans, watch any reaction to episode 4 of Arcane and go to the comments. If you, for 1 second, thought that pink-haired girl was Vi, your comment section is gonna fucking light up. The most toxic Arcane fans ever get is if you
Someone
think even if you're like, oh no, okay, I see, it wasn't her. I can't believe you thought for a second that it doesn't even look like, what the fuck were you?
What? The first time I saw this for a second, I did think that was Vi. Okay?
Well, because they show Vi.
I mean, it's yeah.
And I just for like a second there, and I have been playing this game for 12 years, so fuck off if you want to come for me for that one. But that you're supposed to, for a second, think that it is Vi. You're supposed to have that heart-stopping moment, and then you can have this realization of, one, from a narrative perspective, they're not going to reunite them this fast or this way. And then also, that's clearly not Vi, even if you don't know what she looks like now as like an older person, an adult.
From a logistic perspective of Jinx just holding Vi's arm totally still as she's struggling to pull free. Like, yeah, you think with Vi's guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you watch reactors like I do, don't be toxic in the comments. That's lame.
Yeah, that's not nice.
That's lame. Help people enjoy Arcane.
It's interesting. You talking about it has really highlighted something that I think Arcane does real well, which is putting the audience in like the same emotional space as the character. That's a good example of it. I was thinking of in episode, kind of start of episode 3, where it has Vi down in the basement. And then the way they kind of splash blood over the window is a great job of bringing the audience up to speed in terms of like something is happening, but we have no idea what's going on just as much as Vi really doesn't. There's other moments like that I think
they're good at that.
That's true. I can appreciate so much when they talk about how God, what's his name?
Marcus.
Who? Birkin. Nope. The guy who got killed.
Benzo.
I knew we the B. Birkin.
Birkenstock.
Benzo. They say he was like torn apart and all of this, and we don't see any of this. But like, God, it's so horrifying to like see him jump down, and then, yeah, I feel like that blood splatter was the best way to show that horror of what was happening, and to put us in this headspace of Vi of, holy crap, what's going on out there? But we can't tell. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean the whole pacing of that sequence. I could talk about like little things of episode 3 forever. I'll contain myself. But like the whole pacing of that sequence, I think is great too, like, for that as well, because it's gone from already the big sort of shock of, okay, Vander is going to turn himself in. And we kind of went into that whole episode with the expectation that Vi is going to be turning herself in, and then things twist into Vander turning himself in, and then turn on their head again in just rapid order. It's just like it's like kicking you while you're down a little bit. But that's exactly where Vi's at, right?
And then I love when this can happen in fiction, when you have these people you're very afraid of, and in this case it's the enforcers, and then they are immediately taken down by something scarier. That's so cool. And they did that really, really well. Like this enforcer that's with Vander, like you don't expect her to just be dead all of a sudden. Like, and yeah. I don't know. And you really see how dangerous Silco is in that moment if you weren't aware of it before. He's not worried about spilling a little milk. I don't know. That's not a saying.
He's not worried about
I'm getting at the
cracking
end of my drink.
a few dozen eggs to make that one omelet.
That's it. You cry over spilled milk, but you have to crack eggs to make an omelet.
Or
got it. I got the idioms.
Or what is it? Break a few
few
wrenches.
Eggs, make a few omelets.
That's how it works.
Oh, break a few wrenches.
Free wrench, yeah. I had 2 more notes that I wanted to hit. The first one was for the end of episode 3. I realized there's a neat little mirroring where they're with Vi and them. The monster guy is trying to break through the door to get in to where they're at, and then it cuts to Jason, Victor, who have also barricaded their own door, and it's also trying to be broken into. Fun little thing. And then more broadly, another thing that I really like in Arcane and Rewatch, I noticed, is like all these little moments where characters do not say something, but just the way they just have some sort of expression or movement that makes them feel very like genuine and human. Like when
Vi
Grayson
on the
and
bridge
Marcus.
with Vander.
Yeah, that one. When Grayson and Marcus are like in Benzo's shop, and she says something about like, "Oh, it would make this place look like a trash heap or whatever." Benzo gives this look that's just sort of like, you know,
How dare you?
and the one that really cinched it for me is at the end of episode 3, after Vi has hit Powder, she gets up to leave. And what does Powder do as Vi kind of gets up and moves? She flinches away.
Yeah, I just noticed that for the first time on this watch.
Exactly, right? I didn't even notice it, but it you didn't notice it, but your brain does, right? You know, it's like...
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. All these little touches I really liked. Someone's paying attention. You know what I mean?
Someone out there.
When they made this thing, someone was fucking paying attention, which I love.
Yeah. Great show.
Yeah, I'm
excited for the second half. Also, like, just as a random note, if you haven't seen the behind the scenes, like the making of it,
it's
absolutely worth the watch.
So good.
If you're not a documentary person, doesn't matter, still kicks ass.
If you liked Arcane, you'll like the documentary, I think, about it. Yeah.
Sure.
Bridging the Rift is the name if you're looking for it.
They should all be on YouTube. I think it's 6 parts.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. God, they should just put them up on Netflix. Like, they're so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. I'm excited to continue with the rest of the show, and I imagine we'll also talk about what we're hoping for season 2. I'm keep thinking of champions that I think could actually potentially show up. I know we talk about our hopefuls, but I have a few in mind that I'm like, I think this is like a possibility.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll bring the predictions next episode. I like that.
Well, thank you so much for listening to us. We have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams on Friday evenings, Saturday evenings.
That's the one.
CFT and ARAMs of the viewers. EST, not 8 o'clock p.m. EST. I put some Fireball in my drink.
At the absolute latest. I usually shoot for 6:30, but
6:30?
If you get there by 8,
when's the last time you did 6:30?
Anytime I'm in state. I've been out of state the past 5 Saturdays and I had to start late.
Well, this Saturday's Halloween weekend, although it'll be over by then. Anyway, we also have a YouTube if you want to see our lovely faces or our Halloween costumes from the week before. Mark has just a great, delightful Anivia costume to show everybody.
Including various
abilities.
Skins and abilities.
Yeah,
we really
you don't want to miss out on that.
You definitely don't want to miss out on that one.
He spared no
Is there
expense.
still a cooler of ice in your freaking office,
right at
Mark? Of course,
well,
I bet it's not ice
it's...
anymore. Yeah, it's just a cooler of melted water in your office now.
And the cool pack, the freeze packs,
And the freeze packs.
Is
the egg in there
if you
too?
Used true ice.
No, I threw that one away.
Oh, you threw out the egg. Okay. It's interesting. How did you have to get an egg? Because I feel like you
told
probably
Sarah
don't have...
to buy me some
A
eggs.
single egg.
What are you gonna do with the rest of them? I feel like you guys are at an egg house. You just ate the eggs, just raw.
I hadn't had scrambled eggs in a minute. They were really yummy.
So you just you scrambled up 11 eggs.
No, I got a six pack. I'm not a monster here.
So 5. Okay. Anyway, what else do we have?
Patreon.
Yes, before that, Discord. We have a Discord. If you want to find some people to chat with, play League with, make fun of us. We're so old. You can join the Discord. Or, we have a Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Mr. Dead and King of Hearts. If you were one of Silco's henchmen who had just been knocked out by Vi on a bridge, I would get you out of there before the bomb went off.
Oh, nice. That was a good one.
Did you do that for all of them? Is that...
They were all patrons.
Sure, they're the villains, but,
Their money's good here. It's okay.
Everyone's is. Well, please be sure to join us next week as we continue with our Arcane rewatch.
Episodes 5 through 9.